Whoa, fluffy buns! Today, I'm going to show you how to make steamed pork buns. Let's start by making the dough, as this needs some time to rest, rise, and become that fluffy consistency you love about these steamed pork buns. Add 7 grams of instant yeast into 150 milliliters of warm water and set aside. In the bowl of a mixer, combine 300 grams of cake flour or low gluten flour, 75 grams of white sugar, and 10 grams of baking powder. Add in the bloomed yeast mixture that you made before. Add a dough hook onto the mixer and turn it on to low speed until everything is combined. When the dough comes together, add 1.5 tablespoons or 25 grams of pork fat and mix on medium until the pork fat has been incorporated into the dough. Remove from the mixing bowl, form it into a ball on your work counter and add it back into the same mixing bowl, just to save some dishes so we don't have to clean up more. Cover and let it rise for 30 minutes in a warm part of your kitchen. Don't have pork fat or a dough mixer? You can totally do this by hand. Same amounts of ingredients as before. Add 300 grams of flour, 75 grams white sugar, 10 grams baking powder, and the 7 grams of instant yeast into a bowl. Now instead of the pork fat, add in 25 grams of melted butter. Then add the 150 ml of water. Mix with a spoon until the dough is combined. Knead until smooth, and same as before, chuck it back into the mixing bowl, cover, and let it rise in a warm spot for 30 minutes. While we are waiting for our dough to rise, let's prep our filling. We're going to need Chaasu Bao Sauce, and to make this, you're going to need some scallion oil, so why not start there? It's pretty easy to make and a really good addition to your pantry. Thinly slice 150 grams of onions, slice 150 grams of scallions, green onions, spring onions, or whatever you call them in your part of the world. These need to be cut into long sections about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. Separate the white and green parts because we're going to add them separately. Add the sliced onions to a pan with 500 ml of neutral flavored oil on medium-low heat. The trick here is to take your time extracting as much flavor as you can. The slower the better. Once you see tiny little bubbles falling around the onions, let these cook for a few minutes, then add in the white parts of the scallions. Stir occasionally to make sure nothing is burning. Once the onions and white part of the scallions have started to develop a light golden brown colour, add in the green parts of the scallions and continue cook until the onions are a rich golden brown. Turn off the heat and remove as much of the onions as you can and let this cool. Grab a glass jar and strainer and carefully, not to spill the oil all over your bench like I did, strain the last bits of onion out into your jar. Label this and add it to your pantry. Now to make the Chaasu Bao sauce, grab a saucepan, add 1 teaspoon of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of hoisin sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 45 grams of white sugar, 1/2 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of the scallion oil we made earlier, and 1/3 cup of water. Add this to the stove on low heat and stir until the sugar is dissolved. Combine 1/4 cup of water, 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour, and 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Mix this extremely well and make sure there are no lumps before we add this to the Chaasu Bao sauce. We're going to use this as a thickening agent, so add this into the Chaasu Bao sauce and mix extremely well. Once your sauce is thickened like this, turn off the heat and add 1 more tablespoon of scallion oil. This will make more Chaasu Bao sauce than you need, however it keeps really well in the fridge and you can use it for different things. Next, you're going to need some char siu or roast pork. You can buy this from your local Chinese barbecue restaurant, or I have another video showing you how to make it yourself at home, which I've linked in the description and also in the top right of the video now. You'll need 150 grams of char siu, and you're going to want to dice that up into cubes about 10 ml or half an inch. Mix that extremely well into a bowl with 250 grams of the Char Siu Bao sauce that you made earlier, and we have our filling. Now that the dough has rested, we can start to form our bao. Lightly dust a bench with flour and roll out your dough until it's about 1 centimeter thick. Then starting at the bottom, roll this up into a log and divide into 16 pieces. These should be about 40 grams each. Cover these with a tea towel and start to roll out each wrapper. Press down on the dough ball with the palm of your hand, and starting about a third of the way into the wrapper, roll outwards. Rotate the wrapper and repeat. What you're aiming for is the edges of the wrapper to be thinner than the center. Once you've rolled out the wrapper, store it under a tea towel so it doesn't dry out. Repeat this until all of your bao wrappers are rolled out, and now we can start to fold. Spoon a large tablespoon of your filling in the center of your wrapper, and using your other hand, start pleating the wrapper in a circular motion. The trick here is to rotate the bao as you pleat, and make sure you're pinching those pleats so they're really sealed. Once you get to the end, close it up and twist, and place the finished bao under a tea towel whilst you complete the rest so they don't dry out. Cut out squares of parchment paper for each bao. This will ensure that they don't stick when steaming. Load your steamer basket, leaving room between each bao as these little guys will expand once cooked. Now we're ready to steam. Fill a large saucepan with water, add a splash of white vinegar, which will help maintain that nice white colour of the bao when steaming. Once your water is rapidly boiling, add your steamer basket on top and steam for 10 minutes. And 10 minutes later, it's time to reward yourself for all that hard work. Super fluffy, perfectly steamed pork buns, just like you get at Yum Cha. These are so soft and fluffy, they practically melt in your mouth. Cook them up for a snack, maybe for breakfast, pretend you're at Yum Cha. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. Smash the like button and subscribe if that's what you're into. And I'll see you in the next one.